Hello, welcome to Judy's Creations in Crochet. And today is January the 5th, 2023, a brand new year. And I'm coming to you from southwestern Ontario in Canada. And I am all about showing finished objects in crochet. Sometimes I will show whips as well. And quite frequently, I now show yarn acquisitions of hand dyed yarn. That's my favorite. And so I like to focus on hand dyed yarn because so many other people are showing you what you can get in the big box stores. And I don't have access to as much of that where I am. So we'll talk more about yarn in a little bit. I want to welcome everybody back after a safe and happy New Year holiday. I hope it was safe and happy. And I also want to welcome any newcomers. I see there have been a number of new people visit lately, and I hope if you stopped by because you saw that I'm doing a cowl or something like that, I hope you will stay, subscribe, and come back again and see what I have to offer here. I noticed, excuse me, I noticed, for example, I put out a video in late December that had a link to a bundle I created in Ravelry with, at the time, it had 65 patterns. Now it's up over 70 patterns that you could use scraps or Advent minis. And that is one of my highest viewed videos. Normally I get in the average of 175, sometimes a little bit more. And that particular one has, at the last time I looked, about 325 views. So I hope from that there are some new people. I notice subscribers have been increasing also. Now, I know it's not Christmas anymore, but I do want to say a thank you to some people that sent me Christmas cards. They came too late to get in my last December video, and I suspect that's the mail, and they came from the US. So I got this card from Natalie, and Natalie has a channel called Natalie's Closet. I don't know that she knows that I exist as a channel, but hi, Natalie, if you happen by my channel. And then I got another card from a fairly regular viewer, and that's Nina. Sorry, her name is Lynn Ann, but she does have a channel, Nina's Knots Crochet. And hi, Nina, I know you are a fairly regular follower of my channel. Now, both these ladies that sent me Christmas cards, I want to thank you. They both live in Florida. Clue. But what I thought was really interesting on both of these, whoops, got it all upside down. On both of these cards, they had stamps like I have never seen before. And I thought they were so cool. So I'm sure those of you that are live in the US don't think anything of it, but for us in Canada, I have never seen a circular stamp before. We still have the boring old rectangular stamps. Lots of times it has the queen on it, although it'll probably change and have the king on it now that she has passed away. But I did want to say a thank you to these people, and I will be keeping the cards. So 2023, we have lots to talk about, but I want to start. Oh, we check out Kiki has her new outfit on for January, and I want to tell you why. I'm going to start by telling you why I think 2023 is a special year. I'm sure you've often heard about the Chinese calendar where they have the year of the dragon or the year of the fish or the year of the monkey, or My friend, when I started to say this, said, I bet you it's a year of cats, right, Judy? And I said, nope, not a year of cats. I looked it up and I forget what it is already. The year of dogs, maybe. I'm not sure. But anyway, 23 happens to be a special number for me. For those of you that have been around for a while, you know that my birthday is on the 23rd in the fall. But my birthday's on the 23rd, and we celebrated it last September. And a number of other things in my life have occurred on the 23rd. And I've always said that that 23 is my special number. So, because this is 2023, I'm calling this the year of Judy. Now, I don't care if the rest of you don't think it is, but for me, this is going to be the year of Judy. And I was told that I better do something pretty special this year. Then we'll see. Maybe I will. But that's how I'm going to look at this year. Now, what do we want to do first? I'm going to talk about finished objects to start with, as I always do. And then I'm going to go someplace different. So, what am I wearing? This is a finished object that I would have shown you last year. It is it's almost, I'll show you, it's almost full shawl size, but not quite. I usually make them bigger than this. And for some of you that have watched me a while, you might be able to recognize that this is the Granny Merge pattern. And for some reason, when I got this yarn last year, I had a real desire to make this particular pattern with this particular yarn. It is, the Granny Merge shawl, by the way, is a Fiber Spider tutorial. I can link that down below. I have linked it many, many times before. And the yarn, well, the first thing you know about it that makes me happy is the sparkle. And I believe this is a Sparkle DK that comes from EFA. And I'm going to be talking about EFA. That means Expression Fiber Arts. I'm going to be talking about them later. But it's a little heavier because it's a DK. And I love the colors, and it feels very comfortable, and I really like it. So that's a finished object from sometime last year, and I'm almost sure that I have shown you this at the time that I made it. Now, remember I said last week that I was taking some time off between the two holidays. And I was going to do some different things and give myself a rest from crocheting. I had a few comments about that. You people know me too well. But I have to tell you that I did take a bit of a break, and my finished objects are not crocheted items this week. So I'm going to, I hear cats playing in the next room. I'm going to move over just a bit and put up a picture here of the first thing I finished. And it was a jigsaw puzzle. Very colorful, 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle. There was a time when I did them constantly, and I would do one a week, sometimes faster, depending how complicated or how much time I had. So that's one finished object. I worked on that with a friend for part of the week. And when I finished that puzzle and put it away, I did open up a second one that's on the table next door, but it's going to be slower going. But I'll show you a picture when it gets finished, which may not be till the end of the month because I'm not working on them as much now. And a second finished object, and I had a goal to do this during the holidays, and that was this. Now, this is a diamond painting, and it was a prize that I got from Reggie at J Hook Crochet. And I won it from her, I want to say last spring, before she moved to Israel for sure. and it folds up. I've got it assembled now, and it makes for one of these cubes that you can store things in. And I'm sure you can see all the sparkles. And so I was happy to have finished that. Uh, it was interesting to do something different. I won't probably do any more diamond painting unless I happen to, you know, have a feeling for one and get one or win one or something, but it takes away from crochet, and that's what I want to do. But anyway, I did enjoy this. It was interesting, and it will take up residence here in my craft room, and I'm probably going to store maybe some mini hanks in it or something like that. So I did finish something. But you're very, very correct in assuming that I could not spend an entire week not crocheting. But I do think that I did about 3 days, maybe 4 days without really crocheting. I have to tell you, when I was doing other things that were pointless, and I'm thinking I'm wasting time here, I need to pick up a hook and get busy. So I did start something, and I'm pretty sure I'll have it done as a finished object to show you next week, but I didn't remember to bring it down today to show you, so you'll just have to wait to see. No whip this week. Now, at the beginning of the year, I know a lot of people you know what? Before I go there, I want to talk about something else. I want to make sure that all of you were aware that I put out a special video that came out on Monday this week. And I just want to clarify one or two things about that video, just in case, because it sounds like a few people were confused about a couple things. First of all, the picture that I showed, the carnation picture, is the picture that we are all going to use. Every month, I'm going to show you a picture. And that's the picture we're going to use for inspiration to pick our colors, just in case you weren't aware of that. Then I will be posting it in Ravelry. But the reason I'm posting it in Ravelry is simply so it's somewhere that you can go and look at it. Although I did make a point of putting the picture up on full screen for long enough that you could get a screenshot if you wanted. So you can refer to the picture when you're selecting your yarns. And I was happy to see that quite a few of you said you were going to participate. And I can hardly wait to see what people make each month. Every month it's a different flower, and I have an inspiration picture for you. Now, I want to talk about Ravelry. Somebody said they wanted to participate but didn't have a Ravelry account. Well, you do not have to have a Ravelry account to participate. All I need is for you to send me a picture, and you send it to me using my email address, and that's judyscreations21@gmail.com. It is in the description box below. If I remember, I'll edit it and put it on the screen, but that doesn't always work for me, but I will try. All I need is your picture when you're done before the end of the month so that I can do my little slide show like I often do, showing you the work from my viewers. What I wanted to ask people is this: how many of you do have Ravelry or use Ravelry or at least have an account and would like me to open up a Ravelry group where we can be asking questions, showing our progress every month in the CAL? I mean, it's definitely not necessary. It wasn't in my thinking when I planned the CAL. I just hoped you would send me pictures, and at the end of the month I would show them, and that's fine with me. But I see that some other content creators are forming groups so that their viewers can go to a Ravelry group and have discussions or whatever. And since I don't really have that type of Facebook page where you can go on and post pictures and ask questions and everything, I thought that might be an alternative. I would like to hear your point of view, but it's not that you have to have it for this cow. And I'm curious how many do or don't have Ravelry. Okay, so I hope that cleared up the information on the cow. Now, it's the beginning of the year, and it's a time when a lot of people, most people, I don't know, maybe you've given up on making New Year's resolutions. I know I gave up on making New Year's resolutions many, many years ago because I'm like most people. They've done studies and it shows that by January the 22nd, most resolutions have gone by the board. And I have no point to make resolutions, but I did want to set some goals for myself, mostly for this channel. So I want to talk about that, but I have to turn the heat off first. This room is very cold, but that heater really warms it up after a bit. So I decided to set a few goals for myself for this channel, mostly pertaining to crochet for this year. Now, one of the first ones is to pull a few, most people call them whips, but I call them UFOs because they are in a project bag, sitting on a shelf or in the cupboard, and haven't done anything with them in months and sometimes years. And so one of my goals is to finish minimum 3 whips this year. Pull them out. I mean, maybe I'll do more. I don't know what my time is like, but I'm in a group that is in a whip cow for the first part of the year. So I think that will help me in my one goal to clear out a few of my whips / UFOs. That's one of the things I wanted to set as a goal. Another thing I want to set as a goal is to make some sweaters. I've talked about it and I planned it last year and I did make 1 or 2, but I have so many yarns in sweater quantities that I would like to make. So I really feel I need to get busy at that. So I want to set a goal that during the winter, before summer gets here, that I make at least 2 and maybe even a 3rd sweater. And I think that if I get some sweaters made while it's still cold, it might move me to make a few more in the late summer, early fall, so I have more sweaters for next winter. So that's one of my goals, is to get some sweaters made instead of everything else I've been doing. I have another goal that, as you know, we were working on shawls that we donated to a senior's residence before Christmas. And of course, I have a goal to make enough shawls on a regular basis so that we can donate to a second place, possibly next fall. We'll have enough done before Christmas to donate to them. I also would like to learn something new, a new technique or a new stitch. I have a goal to learn something different that I haven't done before. I'm not sure what it is yet, but I'm going to be keeping my eyes open for things that interest me. I'll give an example, although I'm not putting this on the goal. I have never done corner to corner. For some reason, it just never interested me, but I'm thinking I might just give it a try. Or maybe I could learn mosaic, or there's another thing similar to that. But anyway, some new crochet technique. I think I need to keep growing and learning more. So that is something definitely on my list of goals this year. And another thing I want to do is learn more about Instagram. I have an Instagram account. I don't use it because I really don't know my way around it. And I go on it now and then and I look at a few pictures, but I really don't know how to find what I want to find or put things there that I want to put. They tell me it would be a wonderful source to sell my crochet items, but frankly, I just don't get it. And I think I want to spend more time trying to learn Instagram. A couple of you asked about posting your items for the cow on Instagram. And if you know how to post them to link to my account, it's just Judy Goodrow, all one word, lowercase, and that links it to my account. But maybe I need to set up something that says flower cow and you can link your pictures all year to this cow that we're doing. You might want to give me a few comments on it. And if you can give me any hints on how to use Instagram, I would love that as well. So it's been on my to-do list for a while and it hasn't got done. So I think I want to set it as a goal this year. I'm going to write all these goals down and put them somewhere where I look at them a lot. I have another goal and it has nothing to do with crochet, but I'm going to list it here anyway. Some of you know that I am a cross stitcher, and it's got to be more than a year ago. I went through the house and showed you my various cross stitch projects. In fact, I owned a cross stitch store. That's how much I loved cross stitch. But it seems to have gone by the board and crochet has taken over. Maybe because I'm older and it doesn't need quite as much focus as cross stitch does. But anyway, my goal has to do with this. I'm going to put a picture here. And that is a picture of a project I started. It is a good size project. And I might have shown it to you when I took you on my tour of the house. And my goal is to work on that cross stitch maybe Sunday afternoons or one evening for a couple of hours every week. And hopefully, if I make sure I do a little bit every week, I'll get that project done by the end of the year and get it framed because I have a spot on the wall for it next to another big fairy, actually, that would kind of match. So I have a goal to finish that. And maybe you need to keep me on track and ask me every so often what my progress is like. But I want to get it done. I want to get it on the wall and I want to get that frame out of my living room. Now, let's see. I'm looking at my list here. Oh, yes. I have another goal. And this will show you a little bit of yarn while we're at it. Yarn I have not shown you before. It's just in my stash because I don't generally show you what I get from EFA, which is Expression Fiber Arts. Now, Expression Fiber Arts often has kits, and the kits generally have 3 or 4 skeins of yarn in them, and they're meant to go together in some way. I have a number of their kits, and I just want to show you the variety of their kits. This, for example, is a gradient kit. I really don't want to take them all out, but I guess you can't see them too well from the plastic. This is a gradient kit. Sorry, this is a gradient kit. And what I like about it not only is the colors, but it is a kit of alpaca silk DK. And I love their alpaca silk DK. And I think it has, I think it's 230 yards per skein. So as a whole, it has 690 yards. Well, that could make a quite nice shawl if I do an open lacy shawl. and I think it would be gorgeous. Not enough for a sweater. It could do an asymmetrical triangle as well. And you know, I showed you a number of those in the Ravelry bundle. So that's one type of kit they have. Other times they have kits of yarn that go together. They aren't a gradient, but they are meant to meld into each other. And they have a number of patterns that use three colors, and I'll use one of their patterns. So for example, these three all would work together in a project. Love those colors. And I love this yarn because this is Moon Gleam Fingering. Moon Gleam Fingering is cotton and mulberry silk. It's a little heavier than some fingerings, but it's beautiful. And honestly, I wish I'd bought two of them. Oh, actually, you know what? I might be okay. It has 1,311 yards. It's a little finer, but I wonder if I could make a sweater out of that. I would love a sweater out of those colors, but I'm not sure if that's enough given that it's fingering. I think I'll try making some sweaters, like I said, in a 4-weight, and then once I find a sweater pattern that I'm happy with and know the dimensions, I'm going to try a fingering weight, and if it works, then I think that could make me a sweater. But they also have some kits where they take three totally different bases, but dye them all the exact same color. They use the same formula. They keep their formulas on file. But when you use different bases, this will show you. I have two of them so you can see what happens. They don't come out the exact same color. So this is their Resilient. I want to make sure I tell you the right thing. This is their Resilient yarn. And this is their Sparkle DK. And this is Pearlescent Fingering. So these three were all dyed same dye color, but they don't look exactly the same. They only have one pattern that does that uses 3 different yarns, and I want to find a good pattern to put 3 different yarns together in. And here's another one, and this is same yarns. See how different they are? So obviously the pearlescent silk doesn't take the yarn. It's not yarn, doesn't take the dye as heavily as the others, whereas the Resilient is much more saturated. Even the Sparkle DK is darker. But I really, really like these. I'd like them to put them in something. Now, you get a DK and it has only 230 yards, but you get a Pearlescent and it has 550. More than double what this has. So you'd have to use more of this. This has probably 430 something. So I want to find some patterns that would use these. But my whole point in showing you these yarns is that I have a number of their kits. And they're all beautiful, beautifully dyed, meant to go together. All the ones that I have, I might have one that isn't, but all the ones that I have use 3 skeins. So it's a matter of finding a pattern that uses these 3. And my goal is, since I have a number of these beautiful kits, is to do 1 or 2 of these kits this year. Maybe one in the spring and one in the fall, because they're gorgeous and they're just sitting there, and I really, really want to make use of it. Now, some of their 3 different bases are not these same bases, but most of them are a Pearlescent, a Resilient, and Sparkle DK, although some of them have Pearlescent, Sparkle DK, and Alpaca Silk, and I like them better because I'm not a um, whatever they call it, resilient yarn. That's not my favorite. Anyway, I think that brings me to the end of my goals. Instagram, kits, do some whips, make some sweaters, do the cross stitch, learn a new technique, and keep up with making shawls for the people we're going to donate to. I think those are all achievable goals. I believe I can stick to it and do these things this year. And I think they're good goals for me. Maybe you have some goals that you can set. So I showed you a little bit of yarn. In just a minute, I'll show you one yarn acquisition. But before I do that, I would be interested in knowing what kinds of things would you like to see me do as the year proceeds. I like to keep up to date, keep fresh, do things that interest you, do some different things. I had a very, very good response over the bundle of advent calendar or / scrappy yarns. A good response to that, and hopefully some of you will use some of those yarns. I plan patterns. I plan to use some of those patterns myself. But now, I did have one idea given to me, and I'm open to hearing more ideas. I am going to, by the way, continue with designers. I am going to feature a designer at the end of this month. I've done it twice before, and I have another one in the process. I'm waiting for her responses, ready to go at the end of the month. And if you have some other designers, and I'm looking for designers that are a little established and may have 30 or 40 patterns out there in the marketplace. They could have more, but I want them to have enough so that when you go there, you've got some choice to see what they have. But I'm not sure of I'd love to do Toni Lipsey, for example, but she's pretty big. Would she really want me, this tiny little channel, to interview her? I don't know. Maybe I'll get the nerve to ask her. By the way, I do have a goal to reach 1,000 this year, 1,000 subscribers. If I make 1,000, that's it for me. That's all I need to reach, and I'll tell you why another time. But I had somebody make a suggestion of something they thought might be interesting. You let me know. You see, I have all of this yarn from EFA. And way back, about a year ago almost now, I did do a review of EFA yarn very quickly. I told you all the different types, told you what was in it. End of story. Told you if I liked it or not. And they thought it might be interesting if I took one yarn and focused on it in one episode. Not every week, but maybe once a month. I could select one yarn, tell you about the yarn, what it's made of, and so on, tell you how it is to work with, and show you some items I have made with that yarn and how I felt about that yarn. Now, I will start out with yarns that I already have one or two made, but I'll make something at the time, or maybe have a whip at the time we're talking about it, and it'll be a yarn that I like. There are some yarns from EFA that I don't really care for, and I'll talk about those too down the road. I started with one the other day and tossed it aside and said, not going to finish that. So I was thinking I would try to do that. Maybe I'll even start this month. Towards the end of the month, I will do one yarn, talk about it, and show you some items I have made, and that kind of thing. Now, if this is something you like, I will continue on each month doing one yarn. If you don't think this is something you really want to hear about, feel free to say. If there are some other things you would like me to tackle, to share with you, I'd like to hear, and I'd like to hear some designers that you know and would like to know more about. But you've done some of their designs and really like them. I've had a few people who never knew CJ Brady get one. They went and looked after they heard about her from me and really liked what they saw. And they won one at Christmas, and sounds like they're pretty enthused with CJ Brady's patterns. So I'm always happy to bring you something new that you are not aware of and share those things with you. Okay, we're going to do one opening of yarn. I have a lot of yarn sitting out here around me on the table. I won't tell you how many people I bought from, but I did buy a lot of yarn in the November Black Friday. Some of it is from a little farther back. And I bought a little bit after Black Friday, but I told you I'm going to be slowing down because I really, really don't need more yarn in my house. So for a little while, you're going to see probably one yarn dyer each week until I run out of everything that's on the table, and then we won't see so much hand-dyed yarn. But here is one that I do want to show you. I show you this one a lot, and I have a reason for telling you about this. As you know, you've heard me say more than once that my favorite Canadian hand dyer is Ravenswood. And Ravenswood sends the yarn like this. There's their logo. Ravenswood fiber. I'll show it when I get it out of the package. Can't see it all. They moved from Nova Scotia to New Brunswick. And you're going to say, why are you doing this, Judy? You've done this several times before, showing us how this opens. But for my loyal followers, yes, you've seen me probably do this half a dozen times. But I'm always getting new people. So I want to show you that when you find somebody that will mail it this way, they are really cutting the cost. There is no charge at all in Canada to receive her yarn. That's the first thing you need to know. No charge, no matter how much you buy. And some people worry about it being vacuum packed. Now, I have some that is still vacuum sealed and I have not opened, and I'm sure it'll be fine when I get around to it. But I want to show you how it comes out of this. And that's one reason I like this hand dyer. She has a farm in British Columbia where she raises sheep and some other animals. See, immediately it begins to puff up as soon as it gets air in it. Now she has it tied. At one time she used to just put the card in, but now she does tie it. And right away it fluffs right up. I can grab the tie where her card is. There's her card again. And shake it out if you want. And how do you like that color? Blues and browns. Isn't that pretty? I think it's a great combination. I could put it with a solid brown, or I could try to find this blue, kind of a tealy blue, and put it with it. Or just do a one skein wonder that I like to do so much of. The other reason I like her is that I know, and I'll tell you why I'm going to do what I'm doing. I know the quality of her yarn. I've never had her worsted because I'm not big on buying hand-dyed worsted. But I have had, I'll show you right now, I have a DK of hers. No, these aren't DK. I have two more of hers to show you. I thought I had ordered DK, but I did order DK the last time. And the quality of her DK is as good as the quality of her fingering. This is fingering weight. By the way, it's called Over the Mountain, and it's 8515 merino nylon blend, 400 meters, which would make it 437 yards. Her yarn is always nice and soft. It does not have that really grainy twist. It's not single ply. It is Does it say here? Sometimes they'll say how many ply. This one doesn't. It is definitely twisted, but it is a really nice, soft yarn. And I have had, as you know, yarn from many, many places. Some are not soft. So I am so confident in the quality of her yarn, excuse me, that I have actually decided to be part of her monthly subscription box. She's starting it new this year. For those in Canada, it works out to $33 a month. A $33 skein of yarn is not unreasonable. I often buy it for $33 US, and you know what that would be in Canadian money, very close to 45. So I know it's 33 a month. You can get a year-long subscription, or you can get just a 3-month subscription. Now, because I know the quality of her yarn, I decided I would get a 3-month subscription. I'll tell you why 3, not a year. You had to pay the whole thing up front, and we just got through Christmas. And the other thing is, I like a lot of her colors, but you know me and this sight unseen color thing, and I should have shown you, but I made one of those orders of the Mill-Ends from Hirschner's where you get the gradient cakes. And Crystal and I don't know how many other people showed on Facebook, showed their orders, and they all got these gorgeous colors. And I wanted some of those colors for a reason you'll see later as time goes on. But I ordered quite a few, and as I opened it, first one, yellow and gray. Next one, yellow and brown. Next one, light yellow, dark yellow. I'm saying they picked all the yellows to send to me. You know how I feel about yellow. So I did get a couple of nice colors in it, but so much yellow. Good thing I have a use for it. But anyhow, I'm not sure what kind of colors we're going to get in this, so I decided to opt for 3 months. Once a month, the middle of the month, she'll be sending out a skein of yarn. I know the price is very reasonable. I know I'm not paying shipping, and I know the quality of her yarn. So there's 3 bonuses. I'm not sure what color. It's a mystery. That's what happens with subscription boxes. So I thought I'd try it for 3 months. And if overall I'm happy with the 3-month subscription, I may get either another 3 months or a year. If I got colors that really weren't me 3 months in a row, I don't have to stay with it any longer. So there's the first one I got. Absolutely gorgeous. Here's the second one I got. I'm not going to unwind it because I struggled to get them back in the hank, but you can see. Same specs as the last one, and it's called Wild Rose. Oh, by the way, she does sparkle yarns as well, which are absolutely gorgeous. You've seen them. And the last one I got was Choose Your Ride. Now, I thought this had a little less gray, a little more pink in it, but I got it for the specific purpose of putting these two together. Aren't they going to be great? And I'm hoping to do something with them this spring, like before summer gets here, in the early part of the year. I really, really like those two together, and that's the plan. Love it. So that's Ravenswood. I simply tell you about them. If you're interested, you can check out her subscription program. I'm telling you, though, you will be happy with the yarn. She doesn't have a ton of bases. Every now and then, she did have a MCN, merino cashmere nylon, at one time, and she does sometimes do merino and silk. But she sticks to this basic. It's not a large company. They don't have a huge selection, but they have a good selection of colors. And I've always been very, very happy with anything I got from them. So I just want to point that out to you. That's my yarn acquisition for next week, and we'll have another one next week. And hopefully a couple of finished objects to show you now that I'm back in the groove. Like I said, I went for, 3 or 4 days without really crocheting anything. And then I picked up a whip and I did that for a day. It was mindless, just put it aside. And on the weekend, I think Friday or Saturday, I started on a project. That's how long I was able to go. Somebody thought I wouldn't last a day, but I did do a few days where I did no crocheting at all. But I'm happy to be back at it. And maybe it was good because it reinvigorated me to get busy at more projects because I have a lot to get done in January. So thanks for spending time with me today. And I'm wishing you all a very great, prosperous new year, this year of Judy. I think it's going to be a good year. So until I see you again next week, happy hooking.